So the DJI Osmo Action has just been released. You might have seen a lot of videos out there from people who have been given the product for free, or by GoPro fans who have not been given the product for free. I don't fit into any of these categories, and I just wanted to give you the lowdown on what I think of the Osmo Action. And for context, I've only ever owned one GoPro, and that was the first generation one. At first glance, the Osmo Action looks a bit like a GoPro. I do like the design of these action cameras and think it was a good move to keep this familiar. On the back, you have a touchscreen which takes up the whole of the width of the Action. On the bottom, you have a battery which is removed using these switches. On the right hand side, we have the speakers and of course a microphone. So this is a sound test of the DJI Osmo Action. Hopefully it's good enough for sort of vlogging. This is with wind reduction turned on, but there is no wind where I am at all. Hopefully, yeah, it's good enough for vlogging. I don't really vlog that much myself, but this is for people out there who are watching who want this camera for vlogging, because it really is a really nice small camera that'd be very useful for vlogging. I actually think the audio from the Osmo Action microphones are really good. They block out wind noise relatively nicely, and it's really clear when you're speaking to camera what you're saying, so thumbs up for that. So on the left hand side here, you have a little flap that you can open, and inside is a slot for the micro SD card and a USB-C there for charging. This is water sealed, so make sure that you close it properly. There's also a quick switch button, which is great for switching between modes and will come in handy when wearing gloves. Finally, at the top we've got the power button here, a record button here, another microphone and an LED light, which is a really useful indicator. Now what really makes the Osmo Action stand out from other action cameras is the front screen. Now I think this makes the Osmo Action so much more than just an action camera. The viewing angle on the Osmo Action is actually really good. There is a crop if you're shooting in rock steady, but it's still definitely wide enough for vlogging or sort of selfies if you're taking selfies on holiday and you want some action in the background. Then this sort of wide field of view is actually perfect. So a lot of these GoPro videos that you see of people cycling, skiing, jumping out of planes, doing crazy stuff, is all normally on a mount. And that means that the person using it isn't necessarily watching what they're recording. So the decision to put a front screen on the DJI Osmo Action is a bit of a confusing one. But I think it's a really good idea. I think it opens up to sort of more possibilities when filming. Now the obvious reason for this is vlogging. Having a small camera like this that you can take around and has a front screen makes it perfect for vlogging. So the great thing about the DJI Osmo Action is it has a little screen on the front, so you can see yourself when you're either vlogging or taking photos of yourself. That's really handy. The screen is square, but it still shows a 16:9 image, which is great, and it shows the time on the top and the settings on the bottom. The front screen also makes it more accessible for the average person. It's DJI saying, look, you don't have to do all this crazy stuff just to own an action camera. It's actually really good for vlogging, taking away on travels of you, holidays, family videos. It's good now as just an all-round camera. It's also really easy to pick up straight from the box. The interface is easy to use and the touchscreen is actually really responsive. But I do recommend watching a couple of videos just on the settings to get acquainted with it, as it's not all particularly obvious when it's straight out of the box. I am going to be doing a video, like a user guide on how to use the Osmo Action, so if you want to see that then please do subscribe, and that'll be coming soon. The other key feature of the Osmo Action is the rock steady stabilization. Rock steady is DJI's answer to GoPro's Hypersmooth, and it uses electronic stabilization and algorithms to make sure your footage looks really nice and smooth without having to use a gimbal at all. So I'm just going to do a quick running test with the Osmo Action. So I'm going to turn it around and run forwards. Can't run too fast, got my camera in my hand, but it's just to test the rock steady, see how good it is at compensating for a light jog, I guess. Now I think this works really well. It does have a little bit of a crop, so you do lose a little bit of wideness there, but it's not that much of a big deal. There is a slight delay on the screen when you're using rock steady. Now I know this has been reported quite a lot, and it's actually, in my opinion, been exaggerated a little bit. See, I didn't buy this device when it first came out. I would have bought it on the first day, but I saw the reviews and I was seeing reviews coming in that, you know, the screen delay was a bit too much. And so I actually held off buying it, thinking that I wouldn't be able to film with a screen delay. But it's actually not even a second. And when you're filming normal content, you don't notice it. Of course, when you're doing sort of hand in front of the camera stuff, then you're gonna notice it because you're looking for it. But in day-to-day use, walking around with this and filming, I didn't even notice the delay. The range of frame rates on this camera is also really good. Most notably, it has 4K 60 without a crop, which is really nice. And in HD, you can film up to 240 frames a second, which gives you that really nice slow motion look. There's also a time-lapse feature, which I haven't tested yet. It would have been nice to have a hyperlapse feature like you've got on the Osmo Pocket, but maybe that will come sooner down the line. There's also photo mode, and from my testing so far, the photos on this look lovely. I did have a few problems connecting the Osmo Action to my phone and to update it. This is because apparently it clashes with Google Android's Wi-Fi settings, and eventually I had to turn 4G off, turn my phone onto airplane mode, and then turn Wi-Fi and Bluetooth back on, just for it to work the first time. Since then I haven't had to do any of that, but I'm hoping it kind of stays easy from now on. Now all of this is done through the DJI Mimo app, which you'll be familiar with if you've had the DJI Osmo Pocket before. Luckily, you can do everything you can on the camera on the app, so you don't have to keep attaching the phone to the camera to change settings, for example. You can also transfer videos and photo files to your phone straight over Wi-Fi, which is a really nice touch. But I did find on the Huawei P20 Pro that video playback was choppy and ugly, and so it wasn't really worth doing that. Although I have been told by DJI that the Huawei P20 Pro is not compatible with the DJI Osmo Action. It's not one of their recommended phones, although the Huawei P20 is. From the limited footage I've taken so far, the footage looks really sharp. Now, it's a little bit over sharpened, which is a sort of DJI trait, I guess, but it's bearable. The dynamic range is really nice, although you do notice a lot of noise in the shadows. I'm hoping something will be done about this. It's a little bit too noisy sometimes in those shadows, but apart from that, I think it's actually really nice quality for what you'd use it for. Now, I'm an average person, I'm not an adrenaline junkie, and I don't do a lot of sport. So I'm going to be using this for documenting my holidays and trips away, and I'm going to be using this alongside my DJI Osmo Pocket. So this month I'm going to Italy for a week. I'm going to be using the Osmo Action out there as my primary camera, and I just want to test it out more, test all the different features, and hopefully I can come back to you guys with a full review and a more detailed opinion on what I think the footage looks like. But I really just wanted to put it out there that I've got the device, I'm really enjoying using it. Like I said, I haven't had a GoPro for a while, and I decided to buy this. I was a little bit skeptical of whether I'd actually use it, and by some of the reviews on YouTube I was thinking maybe a GoPro was better, or to wait for the next GoPro and see if it's got a front screen on it. But I ended up biting the bullet and buying this, and I actually say I'm really happy with it. So I'll be back with a full review soon after my trip to Italy. In the meantime, let me know in the comments what you think of the DJI Osmo Action. Have you got it already? Do you plan on buying it, or is something stopping you from buying it? If you like this video, then please give it a thumbs up down below, it really helps the channel. And if you want to see more content like this, then subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be doing more Osmo Action videos, more Osmo Pocket videos, tips, tricks, and more gear reviews. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.